The absolute best way to pop a pimple to minimize scarring is to not pop your pimple. I know that's probably not the answer you were looking for, but it is the truth. Generally, when you leave your pimple alone, it's going to go away a lot faster than if you pick at it. The next best option would be to put a hydrocolloid patch on it. They come as these small flesh-colored circular stickers that help to absorb the pus while preventing picking and reducing inflammation. They can be worn overnight or even discreetly during the day. There are some brands that you can hardly see once you put them on, and if you wanted to, you can even put makeup on over them. I'll link to a couple of brands that are really discreet and good for makeup below. Now, I get it. Sometimes a pimple has to go. If you have a whitehead and a hot date, I don't blame you. And while professional me still stands by leaving it alone, normal me who has had acne completely understands and has definitely popped plenty of pimples myself. So I'm going to share a technique with you which has worked for me and I learned from a dermatologist. But first, it's really important that you understand this. Whether acne leaves a scar or not primarily comes down to the amount of inflammation, how long it lasts, and how much trauma it has caused to your skin. The worse the inflammation and the longer that it persists, the more likely you are to scar, whether that's a hyperpigmentation scar or an indentation scar. So, your number one goal when popping a pimple is to minimize and get rid of inflammation as quickly as possible. Now, the act of popping a pimple generally does the opposite. It increases the risk of inflammation. If you try popping a pimple that is not ready to be popped, or you push too aggressively, or you use your nails instead of your finger pads, it's highly likely that you will just spread the inflammation around underneath your skin, creating a bigger pimple that lasts longer. You may even create more pimples. If you do succeed in popping a pimple, let's say a whitehead, you've now created an open wound, which can now get infected if it's not taken care of properly. And if it gets infected, this could be an additional source of inflammation. So if and when you decide to pop a pimple, keep all these things in mind and make sure that you are doing it really, really carefully. I've created another video that is all about how to reduce inflammation from the inside to help reduce scarring, whether you pop the pimple or not, which I'll link to, so be sure to watch that as well. All right, so here's how to pop a pimple to minimize scarring. First, make sure it is a whitehead and not a closed off pimple with no pore. If it is a red bump with no whitehead and no visible pus coming out, seriously, do not attempt to pop it at all. Do not squeeze it, do not pick at it, because that is just going to spread that inflammation like we just talked about. The bump, it's a bump of inflammation, and if there's no pore for that pus to come out, when you're squeezing it, it's just gonna spread it around underneath the skin, and the pimple is gonna probably last longer and it's gonna be more likely to scar. So just don't do it, okay? Now, if you've verified that it's a whitehead, take a hot shower first to clean your skin and open your pores. Make it like a sauna in your bathroom. Then get out of the shower and wrap your two fingers, your two index fingers, in a tissue like this. Now, this is a very important part. Do not use your nails. Use the pad of your finger to press down gently. So, something like this. And you're gonna press straight down. Do not press in at an angle, right? Because again, if you press in at that angle, that can spread the inflammation around. If you press like this, and just do it gently, do like 1, 2. If it doesn't pop, just walk away from the mirror. Just walk away. I know it's hard, but just walk away because it's not ready yet. And you're gonna probably create some issues, some inflammation. You might increase your risk of scarring, so don't do it. But if it's ready to come out, if you just press gently twice, you know, it'll come out. You can wipe away the pus, and then you want to clean it out because now you have an open wound. So you want to make sure that you're not introducing any bacteria, it's not getting an infection, right? Because that's more inflammation. So what are you gonna do? You can put a drop of tea tree oil on there, which is antimicrobial and it's also anti-inflammatory, and then walk away. If you have a hydrocolloid patch, you can put that on as well, because that's gonna help your skin heal. It will absorb any extra fluid that may be in there. It's gonna prevent bacteria from getting in. It's gonna reduce inflammation. And most importantly, it's going to prevent you from picking at it. So that is what I would recommend. Just leave it alone. Do not do any further picking. If it scabs, and when it scabs, do not pick at it. Just leave it alone. For all the tips on clearing acne naturally, be sure to subscribe to my channel and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss another video. Thanks, and see you next time.